Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cook Like a Kenyan session, which is part of the 20-year celebration of Birth from Poverty, equipping women to work for water, a day in the life. I am your moderator today, Waini, and I am one of the Path from Poverty board members. I will be moderating with Catherine.
I'm Kathy Scott Lewis, and I was on the 2020 work team that went to Kenya this past late February. And our job was to help build the bases for the water tanks. And we also got the amazing opportunity to meet the lovely Kenyan women who are our hosts. And I have to say, it was really a life-changing, enriching experience for me.
Thank you, Catherine. Please note that we will take questions at the end of the session. You can enter your questions by clicking on the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen or the raise hand button, and we will let you ask your question. Well then, let's get started. Ooh. While we cannot share food together today for obvious reasons, join us in learning how to make chapatis in our kitchen. Enjoy the video.
Welcome to Jeanette's Kitchen. We are here today to learn how to cook like a Kenyan, or at least we're going to learn how to make chapatis. Fun fact about chapatis. The Indians brought this amazing food to Africa hundreds of years ago, or
Yes.
do we know when it came? But I mean, India has had record of chapatis since like the 1500s, so they've been making it for a long time. And you said they were interested in what in East Africa?
East Africa spices, all kind of spices from cardamom, cinnamon, all that. That's what they were. That's how they got interested to Africa, and they came and lived there, and they introduced the Africans to chapati. 3 cups flour and 2 spoons of sugar and 1 of salt. And the sugar is optional. It all depends on what you're going to eat the chapati with. So sugar is optional. Salt is not optional. You do a pinch of salt.
Right. So right now we've got Jeanette making a gluten-free chapati mix. Because so many of us here in Seattle, especially, are gluten-free. We want to see if it's going to work. We haven't done this before, right, Jeanette? So this is an experiment.
It's a flat pan bread that is used mostly for a meal, but you can also use it for breakfast instead of bread.
Delicious. And what are we putting in right now?
Some olive oil, a spoon of olive oil. Yes, and I made some chapatis that were very hard. Like normally chapatis should be very soft and layered and fluffy. But you can tell somebody who is trying to learn how to cook by just how hard it will be. Like it will be like crackers. Crack it.
Is that like too much flour? Does it get cooked in the right way?
Cooked in the right way, but maybe you miss out on some steps. Like letting it sit for some time before you start cooking it.
Oh, if you let it sit too long, it gets hard.
No, if you don't let it sit.
Okay, that helps it be soft.
Yes.
All right.
You let it sit.
You have to have patience for this recipe.
Yes.
Good things come to those who wait. Or I suppose this gives the cook time then to make the sauce.
Yes.
To prepare the meat.
Exactly. That's what happens. You skip to where you start making the sauce and everything. Then you go back to your chapati when you're done with all the sauce and everything.
Okay.
Yeah. I cut the dough into balls, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put oil and wrap it around and let it sit. Then from there, that's when I'll use the pin to spread it out and put it in the pan. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing that is to make sure when I put it on the pan, it gets done in the middle and outside, because there's some oil in the middle, so it will burn the percentage of so it gets slightly hot, and so it cooks inside, and besides that, it makes it more soft. And I'll show you once I make the chapati other reasons to why. I'll show you. We'll look at it together.
So interesting.
Wow.
And the oil, you can use butter. You can use coconut. I normally use coconut sometimes. Coconut oil is very good, makes it very soft. But mostly in Kenya, we'll use just the vegetable shortening. We don't have all these options. So we have just the shortening that we buy or ghee. Okay, what we normally have is we have a wooden thing like a cutting, but it's all round.
Okay.
And normally, because also you don't have a counter, so just having the wood, that will not help. The wood will have stand, and then you put it on something. You place it on something. So it's a small thing that has 3 legs, and then all round shaped. Something just like a wood cutting.
And for a rolling pin?
Yeah, a rolling pin just like this. Yes. One in Ukambani, wood is we have a lot of very good craving of wood. We do a lot of carvings and all that in wood. So wood will be like the best thing. Yeah, you'll find it back.
And very common.
Yes, and very common. Back in Kenya, you can cook it a day before because of where you're going to store it and all that. But when I'm here, I normally just throw them in the freezer and microwave them the following day. They are as fresh as, But in Kenya, no. And secondly, that good scent of the food. No one wants to just fill the house smelling and not eating. Yes. So we can't hold ourselves that long. That is a dish you'll never miss in a Kenyan home if you have guests, if you have a celebration. This is a main course.
Right.
How you can do a party without chapati.
So it's a festive dish.
Yes, it is. Whoops. So with chapati, what we normally eat it with is a beef stew or a chicken stew, and some greens, some collard greens, or a cabbage. Okay. So you always have to make the chapati, you make the beef stew, and some greens.
Yeah,
on the side. Some people put it on the chapati. Most people don't. They want to feel the flavor of the chapati separately. And I'll show you one thing I was talking about the chapati and why I rolled it with oil. So you want to get the chapati and see it having this. Like most people will eat it that way. Like they want to, you see? Yeah,
they want to rip it open.
Open, yeah. The fluffiness, that's exactly what people like. Yeah, and that's what the oil does.
Inside.
Yes.
And that's what makes it different from a tortilla. You couldn't possibly do this with a wrap or a tortilla.
Exactly.
It would just, you rip it open, there's nothing. But here you rip it open and it's like the inside, again, we're talking about a croissant, right? Like you have the oil inside has now made it very flaky.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's exactly what. So if you serve me, I want to have my chapati and taste the chapati by itself, then eat it with greens and whatever.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And sometimes what we normally do is you cut your chapati, roll it properly, Go to the beef stew, add the greens, wrap it together, then eat. Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed learning how to make chapatis with Jeanette. She makes it look so easy. I'm gonna have to practice away from the camera. I can speak for myself. But it smells really good. We're all ready to taste these once we have some other food to eat it with. Thank you so much, Jeanette. This was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that's good. And I think the little bit of sugar was a nice addition. Oh, that's flaky. Thank you.
Hi, I hope you enjoyed that video of making chapatis. You know, chapatis are African bread, and every culture has its own kind of bread. Bread's our staple of life, and breaking bread together often symbolizes a sense of connection, hospitality, togetherness. We see that when families gather together around an evening dinner table, break bread together. It's a sense of sustenance, provision. When friends gather together and break bread together, it's usually a sense of being able to develop friendships and closeness, getting to know one another. And in our faith communities, breaking bread together is also communion with God. So I want to share with you my experience of the 2020 trip that I was just on in February, late February. I have to say, I really loved the chapatis. They are delicious, and I do hope you try making them because you won't be disappointed. We had chapatis at every meal. In fact, we had them 4 times a day. We had them for lunch, a breakfast, lunch, dinner, and tea time. So the chapatis actually kind of wove my cross-cultural experience together because it represented a sense of hospitality and warmth. The ladies every day got together and made those fresh chapatis for us. And so it was a sense of welcome, sense of hospitality, and it was just a very precious part of our cultural connection. So I want to share with you some of my best memories, and my best memories happened around tea time. We would finish our labor, and what our labor was is we were actually helping build the bases for the water tanks. So we girls got out there and we hauled rocks, we mixed cement, we tamped the stuff down, and then of course the guys that knew how to smooth it out did the finishing. But after we finished our labor, we would gather together with all the women in a big circle around these amazing African, huge, I think they were called boba trees. And we would sit and we would talk together. And one thing that we took with us, which was really kind of a fun part of it, we took a blow-up globe of the world. And we would show them where we lived, and then we would show them where they lived, and shared how we got there and what our plane ride was like. And a lot of them truly had never even been to an airport. So they were thrilled that we had taken that time to come and be with them and to help them. So let me tell you what tea consisted of. They would often have this really good milk tea. They would have a fresh fruit, watermelon, luscious, juicy mangoes, a starch of some kind. It was my first time eating arrowroot. They'd have potatoes, white potatoes or sweet potatoes, and then of course we always had chapati. And one of the things that we were especially interested in hearing about was the women's trip to gather water. And it was pretty amazing to hear these women's experiences. They would sometimes get up at 4 in the morning in the dark and walk to their water hole. Sometimes it was 5 miles away. Can you imagine walking 5 miles in the dark to get to a water hole? And a lot of times the water holes did not have clean water. One water hole that we visited had an oil spill. And so their water had oil tainted floating on the surface, but it's all they had. And often the water had waterborne illnesses in it. So they take that home. That's what their kids had to drink. That's what they washed with. Pretty discouraging for them. They also, when they were walking for water, they would have danger of elephants, poisonous snakes, and very, very sadly, many of the women had been raped when they were walking for water. So it was awesome. Can you imagine how awesome it was for these women not to have to do that anymore? When they would get their own water tank at their house and gain probably 4 hours a day to be able to provide their family with fresh water. And it would give them time to be with their families. It would give them time to work whatever they did to make money. And it was a totally different lifestyle. So it was really a thrill to be a part of providing these ladies. And they were so gracious. They were so joyful. It was an amazing experience. So I want to share with you my most cherished memory of the trip. It was on the last day, and we were finishing our work, and we could hear the women up in their kitchen laughing and singing and making chapatis. So I said to my teammates, let's join them. So we went up to their kitchen. Now I want to explain to you what a Kenyan kitchen is like. Not like Western kitchens. It's an outbuilding behind their houses, dirt floor with two fires that are burning. One is a fast burning fire, and then the other is a slow burning fire. On the fast burning fire, they usually did their liquids like tea and things like that. The other slow burning fire, they would bake on, or that's where we made the chapatis. And so they gave us the task of rolling out the chapatis. Now, I'm not a pie maker. It was not as easy as it looked. My circles, we'd make them into like 6 or 8 inch circles. Mine were lopsided. They were anything but a nice round circle. But we had such fun, and we were laughing together. And what happened in that experience was that we were just a group of women friends. The cross-cultural differences disappeared. We weren't different. We were just women friends in a kitchen baking bread so that we could break bread together. And I have a little treat. I have a short video to show you of that experience of us ladies all together making chapatis in the kitchen.
Okay, go on. Oh,
This could be like a pizza.
well, it could be a pizza, or it could be a Swedish pancake, or it could be
It's chapati.
Carol. It's not round. You had a head start.
Let's add some more flour.
So I'll know which one is mine. Yeah.
There we go.
Continue
There we
making.
go. Now I'll make it round, Kathy. Nice. Nice.
Better.
Yeah. Pie crust. It's like making
It's very
pie crust.
similar,
Yeah.
or pizza dough.
Yeah, pizza dough.
I don't make
Pie crust.
no.
I used to.
Ah.
Oh, I need more flour.
My hands, I don't think are real clean. That's why.
Yeah. Okay.
It's good. Is it finished?
Yeah, he's finished now.
Enough?
She's got the rolling pin in her hand.
No,
Watch
it's
out.
okay. It's okay. I'm finished. Yes, you're finished. Now get out of here and let me make you my chapatis.
You need help getting in.
Oh no!
Come on,
I
Kathy.
can get off.
I hope you have learned a thing or two about chapatis. Just to add to that, chapatis are also a source of income for many women in Kenya. Some of our Path from Poverty partners in Kenya make chapatis and sell them in a bid to raise money for contribution towards their water tanks. Hello.
Now you all have seen chapatis made in the US and you've seen them made in Kenya. And I hope you have some questions for us. And you can ask us questions at the bottom of your screen.
Right. So we're ready to answer your questions. And I see Judy has a question. Judy, you have your hand up and we're going to let you ask your question.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
It's
My
Judy.
friend from Ohio.
Yes. My question is, can these be done on top of the stove in a frying pan, or are they done in an oven?
Right. So they are done on top of the stove. You don't bake them, you just fry them. So yeah, on top of the stove, that would work well.
And I think you can do them like in a cast iron frying pan. That's probably the best.
Right.
Or an open fire if you want to build a fire out back.
Okay. Alice is asking, will we see a chapati recipe? Yeah. So I think we sent a chapati recipe when you were signing up, but either way, we can still send you again a recipe and then you can be able to try it out. We can have your contacts and then we'll forward you the recipe. And John would like to know, when do we learn how to make the beef stew?
I think any beef stew will do. They taste very similar to our stew.
Yeah, it does. You just make whatever stew you like, and beef stew, there's nothing special about it. It's just the way you make your beef stew. Lucy Baldwick, you have your hand up. We're going to let you ask your question.
Okay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Perfectly.
Okay, this is Judy Balswick, and I just was so delighted at the joy of the women working together and teaching Kathy how to do it right. And just the memory of that, you talked about the joy, and I just thought you did a great job with that.
Thank you. It really was a joy to be in the kitchen, and women in a kitchen together. Usually it's a fun time, and we really saw the cross-cultural differences disappear.
Yeah, that was really lovely. Catherine, I mean, now that you made some chapatis in Kenya, have you been making some in your kitchen?
You know what? One of my friends who spent 3 years in Kenya sent me a email today, and she said that she has special equipment that she got in Kenya, and we're going to make them this week. I haven't done it, so I can't tell you how they turn out, but I'll bet you they'll be good.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for attending. We've really enjoyed doing this with you, and we hope you've enjoyed this session as well. If you have any more questions, you can always ask us and we'll get back to you with a response. If you'd like more information about this topic or would like to share this session with others or with another group, just let us know in the Q&A window and we'll get back to you soon.